In today's video, I'm going to be testing some of the best 5-star rated airsoft products on the internet. I'm going to be showing you guys some of the most insane, never seen before airsoft products. And of course, to answer the question, which one is the best product in today's video, at the end of the video, I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the first airsoft product.
This is the Madbull Powder Puff Airsoft Grenade Mine. This mine comes in at $25 and is fully powered by compressed gas. Let's now read some 5-star reviews to hear what the people are saying about it.
Brandon R says, this mine is freaking sweet. I put under some leaves and when my brother stepped on it, he fell flat on his ass. I recommend this. Oh my gosh, Brandon, bruh. Absolutely just killed his brother in accident. And next up we have John C. He says, this is an amazing product. Best of all the other traps I've seen. It's simple, it makes a good noise, and the powder goes up pretty high. Definitely would get more of these. Those are some good 5-star reviews, especially if you want to prank your little brother. Let's go now and go test it out and see how it does.
The first test, we're just going to load up with some gas, and then we're actually going to put some flour in this to see if it has a cool effect after that. So let's go ahead and load up some gas and see how this guy does. All right. Here goes nothing. So we're supposed to be very careful of putting this top part on. Obviously, we're not going to try to screw it on too much because according to the instructions, if we do that, it'll actually explode. It said to cover it with some leaves. I think that's a good idea, obviously, just to make it look a little bit like it's not there. Like, you know, something like that. All right, this might be really loud. I'm kind of afraid. Okay, here we go. Whew. Oh, nothing happened. Okay, here we go. Oh, it didn't happen again. What happened? It's not working. Maybe it needs to be on something kind of more hard. No, it's not working. Okay, let's maybe try to jump on it. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. What? Okay, let's just try to step on this little pressure plate, little like stem, and not have the, I guess the top part on it. Maybe it's causing it not to go off. Let's try that. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, I felt that. So let's go ahead and reset this pan. Now let's go ahead and put some gas in it and put the flour in and see what happens. And instead of actually screwing this on, I'm just gonna kind of leave it on the top like this, just kind of loosely screwed on. That way it'll have more leverage actually when I step on it. I think that's gonna be the move right there. Okay, here we go. Oh! I definitely felt it go off on my foot. And you could see some residue all right there.
Next up, we have a brand new product that just came out. This is the EMG Autobot. It's a fully electric powered BB speed loader. And now you might be wondering, well, how does it work? There is a little slot on the bottom of the speed loader for a small light bulb to fit to power it up. After you have that installed, there's a little switch to power it on. And then you simply press down a magazine onto this feeding lip and it starts to load up BBs. And it even comes with 4 different loading tips, so you can actually use a whole bunch of different magazines. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and read some 5-star reviews. David D says, hands down the best speed loader I've ever owned.
Every mag I've tried so far, AEG, GBB, whether it's my ENL AKM, my MWS, or my TM Saga 12, it loads them all up flawlessly. Wow, that's pretty impressive. It looks like this thing loads up AEG and gas-like magazines, which is definitely pretty cool. Josh S says the unit comes with 0 instructions. However, use is intuitive and the videos included in the product gallery show you all you need to know to operate it. Pros for him were fills my AR magazines with no issues, fills my high kappa magazines with 0 issues, and is the fastest and least thumb fidgeting way I've found to fill them up. The AEG adapter also allows you to unload a full 130 round mag back into the reservoir in about 1 second. And the cons for him were none so far. Pretty impressive.
To truly test this speed loader, I used it with all sorts of different mags. I first tested, of course, some AEG M4 mags, and those had no issues. Even with my gas blowback M4 mag and my WeTech high kappa magazine, it was a breeze. The only mags I saw difficult with this one was a brand new EPM1 magazine, because before it's broken in, those springs are super tough. Also, the second half of a Novrich SSP1 mag for some reason had some issues as well, but the worst one was definitely this KWA MP7 magazine. It didn't feed at all, and I'm pretty sure it's because of this weird shaped lip. As long as your magazine doesn't have a super tough spring or some super weird lip, this speed loader should load it up very well. Next up, we have the Airsoft Innovations Tornado Impact Grenade. This grenade is powered by gas and utilizes impact technology, so when it hits a hard surface, the grenade will go off. It's capable of holding 200 BBs in one blast. To prep it before it goes off, we're going to need to take this cap at the bottom out. Then you proceed to put together and replace these little parts in a specific order to get it ready to go. Then screw this cap back on and load up the gas at the bottom. Then load up the BBs in these 2 little holes on either side.
And the last step to actually arm this is put the cap on the bottom. And after you get that on, it's fully armed and ready to go. All you need to do is pull this pin and throw it at a hard surface and it should go off.
But before we do that, let's go ahead and read some 5-star reviews.
C. Burke rates it a 5-star and says, definitely the best reusable grenade you're going to come across for airsoft. CQB is the best environment for a grenade like this, with many walls and hard surfaces to discharge against. And then M. Pippin rates this a 5-star and says, this airsoft grenade is a marvel of engineering. The spread on this airsoft grenade is phenomenal due to the swirling, hence the tornado name. The pros are feel solid and the construction is hefty, easily to maintain, good spread, and relatively easy to toss. Those are definitely some pretty solid reviews. Now let's go ahead and test it out and see how it does.
Whoa! That is some force. Damn. Now let's go ahead and try it on this back piece of wood. Let's go ahead and arm it and see how it does. Here goes nothing. Damn. Obviously, I'm wearing safety gear and protective safety glasses, but I actually had a few hit me that time, and actually is pretty decently powerful for an airsoft grenade. It's not going to hurt like getting shot by an airsoft gun, but that is the most powerful airsoft grenade I've ever gotten hit by. Obviously, aside from like the crazy 40mm grenade shells. But for a handheld grenade that disperses BBs, that is absolutely insanely powerful.
The next 5-star airsoft product is the Max CNC Speed Trigger. It's one of the most expensive airsoft triggers on the market, coming in at $25. It's fully adjustable, meaning that with this little tiny screw, you can actually adjust the length of your trigger pull on the trigger itself, even if it's already installed into the airsoft gun. It is made, of course, from a super high quality CNC design. Before we go ahead and install it, let's go check out some customer reviews and see what the people are saying.
Billy L says, threw this on my Polestar and it's super sensitive, would recommend. Garrett L says, just amazing. Honestly, if you want to increase your trigger response, buying this alone will give you results. Mark V says, trigger is really good, as you can tune it to be very sensitive or give it a little bit of slack if you want.
To test out the trigger, we're going to run a speed test, but first we're going to need some volunteers. In this test, we're going to be using 3 different airsoft guns. The first one is a stock AG Scar L, and the second one is a $1,000 upgraded AG with an upgraded speed trigger. And of course, the last one is a full Polestar build with the max trigger. Let's first show the differences of the trigger response with the different airsoft guns and their triggers. Okay, now for the test. To really test out the speed of this trigger, let's go ahead and see how fast I could shoot the target 10 times with each different build with the different triggers, and see if this trigger is really worth it. And as you can see, here are the final results. The max trigger definitely did the best, but obviously it was paired up with a Polestar build as well. So that definitely helps its case, but nevertheless, this thing is fully adjustable, so in theory should be the fastest trigger on the market. And if you want to take full advantage of this thing, make sure to pair it up with a awesome SSG, DSG, or a Polestar build. Next, we have a super unique airsoft target. It's called the Airsoft Plate Target System, and it comes in at $55 and has a crazy double rotating Texas Star system, which makes for an awesome challenging way to practice your aim. The white plates themselves are made from steel and the base is made from a metal alloy, so it sounds super satisfying when you hit it. It's not too hard to put together, and the steel plates are magnetic to fix the targets on the base, making it super easy to set up. The system works on a counterweight system, so every time you shoot one of the plates off, it spins around, making it harder to shoot the next plate. To test out the target fully, we're going to need some different airsoft guns with different power levels, and we're going to shoot it at different distances to see how well it works. But first, let's go ahead and read a 5-star review from Charles C.
It's cool target, works well and made high quality, plus uber fun to play with.
Alright, thank you Charles, very straight to the point there. Now let's go ahead and test out the target with a 200 FPS spring shotgun and see if it can hit the targets down. So as you can see, the 200 FPS shotgun has enough power to hit off the targets, but definitely not every time. I would say about half the time it hits the targets off. So it's definitely possible, just not ideal. Next, let's test a 400 FPS gas MP7 to see if that changes things. Okay, definitely way better than the shotgun. Now let's test it even more and put the target back at about 75 feet away, and we're gonna now use a $1,000 custom M4. It seems like it's definitely possible to hit the targets down at this range, but it's definitely not going to hit them down every single time. Now for one final test, let's go ahead and see if a 550 FPS sniper can hit the targets down every single time. Definitely not an issue for this sniper. It's a little expensive for a target, but definitely one of the most fun airsoft targets I've ever used. This next product is one of the craziest in the video. This is a pyro smoke grenade. It's made by Evike and is called the Airsoft Wire Pulse Smoke Grenade. Each one of these airsoft grenades costs just under $10. You can pick from an array of different vibrant colors for the smoke and choose a single or dual exit type of a smoke grenade. And don't worry, I got both of these different types and different colors to test out in today's video. Before we go ahead and test them out, let's go ahead and read some 5-star reviews.
Charles C leaves a simple 5-star review and says good color, works great. Aaron C next up also rates it a 5-star and says use 4 of these in our last game, very thick smoke and works great. And then Marshall Bong B says wowie, it looks great, big volumes of smoke, quick ignition, all that stuff. After it stopped burning, I looked at the ground where it had been sitting and yep, it burned the grass to a black color, but no flames. So that checks out. Good burn, doesn't light things on fire easily, however the ground was a bit wet from rain and lots of smoke. Yeah, these are definitely technically pyro grenades, so we're gonna have to be a little bit careful. If you use these improperly at a dry airsoft field, they will literally light the field on fire.
In case anything goes wrong, we have a bucket of water ready to go. And we're also going to be running an experiment where we're going to actually try to conceal the smoke in a box, or a bucket in this case, and going to see if the actual smoke color dyes these shoes a different color. All right, let's start with this green one and see how this bad boy does. All right, here goes nothing. Oh, you got to pull this thing hard. Oh, whoa. Whoa, this is crazy. Yo, that's so cool. Damn, it's so like thick, like look at that, that's crazy. Okay, let's go ahead and put it here. Oh my god. Look at all that. Oh my god, that's so thick, that's crazy. Okay, that's enough, that's enough. All right, in there. It's still going, what? Obviously, I didn't fill the bucket up, but that is insane. I think it's supposed to go for about 60 seconds. That is crazy. Maybe we'll mix it around a little bit. Okay, you could hear it obviously getting soaked in the water. And it's still smoking. Oh, I think it went off finally. Whoa, that is crazy powerful. All right, now for the Burst Wire Pole Twin Vent 2 Smoke Grenade. Okay, this side's starting to smoke. Pretty cool. Oh, that is sick. Damn. Whoa, that's sick. Okay. Oh, that was it. This time we have a blue color for this guy. Let's see how this works. So cool. It's such a vibrant color. It's amazing. And it does so much smoke. Look at that. Crazy. All right, let's see if we can dye it. Okay, we're gonna need to hold this bad boy down. It's getting pretty hot in there. We are about out, folks. Let's see what happened. Oh my gosh. No way, it actually dyed them. Whoa, that's crazy.
Next in today's video is the Evike Zero Steel Mechanical Automatic Target Trap. It cost $42 and a big bonus, it already comes fully put together in the box. The idea behind this target is it traps the BBs when they enter in and destroys them so they don't ricochet out, hence the trap name. And once you hit the little orange targets, they will actually stay upwards. And then when you hit the little one in the middle, it resets all of them down. Before we go ahead and test it out, let's go ahead and read a simple 5-star review from Lewis T.
Lewis T says nifty little target box, really fun.
And that's it. Lewis T is a very simple guy. To test this target, I used a few different airsoft guns and tested it at different distances. Although with all the different tests I ran, the target did what it was supposed to do, kind of. The orange target stood up and the reset target worked. But the issue was the consistency at different ranges and using different airsoft guns. No matter what the range was or the airsoft gun I was using, sometimes the targets wouldn't stay up when I shot them. As you could see, the MP7 and P90 did okay at 20 feet, but the M4 definitely had a lot of issues at 75 feet getting the targets down. But of course, the 550 FPS sniper always comes in clutch, as you could see, with no issues getting the targets down at 75 feet.
And what's really cool about this is you could see out to the side all of the pieces of the BBs once they go ahead and ricochet and break down, and obviously inside the unit itself. That could be a pro or con for you if you want shards of BBs everywhere, but it is kind of cool. It like breaks them down.
The next product up is a unique one to say the least. This is the CQB Russian HPA adapter valve. This tiny little guy comes in at $16 and is used to transition your gas-like pistol magazines from being powered by green gas to fully HPA. That's right, after you take out the valve from your old mag and install this one, your gas-like pistol will now be fully running on compressed air from a paintball tank and regulator. Before we test it out and see if it's worth installing in your mags, let's go ahead and read a few 5-star reviews and see what the people think.
Sean L says, works perfectly, wrapped threads with Teflon tape to ensure air seal, nicely constructed product, highly recommend. That is definitely a great tip by Sean. A lot of the reviews that actually were complaining about this actual valve system, they basically didn't put Teflon tape, and the people that did seem to make it work really well. So we're gonna try it with Teflon tape. Todd H says, these guys work great, screwed in and bam, all the benefits of HPA. No mag cooldown, being able to cycle fast through a whole mag, adjustable FPS. These guys make your gas gun come to life. I love these for pistols.
Wow, Todd H really summed it up well. Those are most of the awesome benefits, although there is one he missed, and we're gonna go ahead and test it out right now. The last awesome thing about this valve is the consistency it provides for your system. For example, as you can see with a normal gas-like magazine, it's not very consistent and the FPS goes down as we go through the magazine, and this magazine is upgraded as well. But when we go ahead and change it out for the valve system, you can see the incredible consistency of the FPS. This not only helps your FPS, but also makes your shots way more consistent, as there's not a big variance between each shot in the FPS department. If you don't mind carrying around a tank in a line, there's pretty much no cons of this system, besides of course slowed down reload speeds of having to unhook the line and plug it back in when you switch mags. Other than that, I would definitely suggest this if you already have your own HPA system. Next up, in today's video, we have an Airsoft mystery box. It has 36 reviews and has a solid 5 stars. It costs $174.99. I am super excited to see what we got in this mystery box, because according to these 5-star reviews, people are definitely very excited.
L. Crosby says, bro, I love this box. I've got 2 of them and I was pleased both times. I got 2 rifles and they're both excellent. M. Greeland says, best deal in Airsoft hands down. Wow, people are definitely very excited about this one. And then X. Raymond says, best decision I've ever made. Wow, people are excited.
All right, looks like we got some sort of Lancer Tactical. Let's see what is in here. All right, looks like we've got a Gen 2 Lancer Tactical AEG. Looks like that is everything in the box. Let's go ahead and pull this one out and see exactly which model we got. Ooh, okay, nice. With Lancer Tactical, you get a bag of .20 BBs, a flash hider to change out from that orange one, and of course the top iron sights that I guess are flip-up ones. Last but not least, before we get to the Airsoft gun itself, it looks like we do have a mid-cap magazine, as you can see right there, no windy boy at the bottom. Now let's go ahead and pull this bad boy out and see what it looks like. Oh wow, this is way heavier than I thought it was gonna be. That is insane. This guy is definitely pretty small, with about a 9-inch rail if I were to guess, with some M-lock around the whole rail section, as you can see at the front. It looks like it has some cool tan details like the stock system, the grip, and of course the rail like I just mentioned. It does have a very interesting trigger as well. It looks aftermarket actually. It looks like to be a flat trigger with 4 little hex shapes in the middle. This is the actual model on screen right now, and of course the actual MSRP right there as well. But now of course we have this thing unboxed, so let's go ahead and check out the RPS, FPS, and of course the range and accuracy. Not too shabby, 386.6 FPS with 1.39 joules. And exciting news, before we go ahead and test the RPS, I found out that the Gen 2 Lancer Tacticals are LiPo ready, so we are using an 11.1 volt LiPo in this one. Let's see what the RPS is. 24.2 rounds per second. Definitely way better than I thought. Pretty impressive. Now let's go ahead and test out how fast the semi-automatic really is, and of course do some range and accuracy tests. For more advanced players that want to shoot a lot of rounds very fast down range, you're gonna be very limited with this one. Pretty much every time I pull the trigger like 3 times, it's shooting like 1 shot.
But don't get me wrong, the initial trigger pull is still pretty quick, but the follow-up ones aren't as fast, but as you can see, if you time it right, it's still pretty quick. And of course, starting out our shooting test at about 30 feet away, as you can see, it has no problems hitting a super tight grouping at 30 feet. Now let's scoot back a little bit and give this thing more of a challenge. At 100 feet away. At 100 feet, it's definitely not too bad, but I can definitely see this thing starting to struggle at 150 feet away. But it's definitely not too bad with a small barrel like this. Up next is the crazy $750 Gunpow Advanced SMT Complete Professional Target System. You guys have seen this plenty of times in my videos and it's absolutely amazing, but don't take my word for it, let's read some 5-star reviews.
Jake H says, I love mine. I've had it for months now and no issues whatsoever. Absolutely love it. You can zero in your scope and laser with this, which makes it really useful. Marcus K says, pros, lots of fun, easy to assemble, no software setup required, easy to use, and all around amazing. And the cons? Absolutely none. Mark H says it does everything as advertised. Not only do I like it, but my kids, my wife, and my grandkids also like it as well. Compared to the time and cost of going to the range, it's a no-brainer. No, it's not the same, but Airsoft in general has improved my pistol shooting, and this is a great addition.
Basically how this target works is it has a super sensitive screen that reads when the BBs hit it, and in protecting that is a thick rubber style material that is used to help not damage that sensitive screen. This unit has a bunch of super cool modes already installed and some super fun games as well, and even comes with a super cool controller to allow you to switch between modes. For an example, some of the modes include a hostage mode, some modes to practice your aim, and even a mode to help you zero in your airsoft gun, to name a few. It is definitely one of the most sophisticated airsoft targets you could possibly buy. Of course, that is a pretty hefty price tag, but if that's not an issue for you, and you want ultimate technology for your airsoft target, this is definitely not the worst buy. Most of the time, Airsoft M4 mags are quite similar in performance and quality, but this isn't your ordinary Airsoft M4 mag. This is the PTS EPM1 mag. It holds 250 rounds and it's a mid-cap mag, so you don't have to wind it up whatsoever. It's insane. Let's go ahead and read some 5-star reviews and see what the people are saying about it.
Jubilee S says, pros, indicator, no issues feeding, very durable. The cons are a little hard to load during the last few rounds, and literally nothing else. Life L says, these are the best mid-caps you will ever buy. Wow, definitely a strong 5-star review from Life. David K says, these feed 3.2s, which is my go-to weight for most of my outdoor M4s, and I have a Brawl Armory Crytek LVOA. Big flex. That shoots 30 plus RPS and I haven't had one jam or misfeed yet. So let's go ahead and test out this mag and see if it'll keep up with a crazy RPS airsoft gun.
Let's start off this mag easy with a 10 RPS airsoft gun and see if it feeds. Looks like there's no problem. Now let's go ahead and double the RPS and see how it handles that. Easy money. Now for the final test. Let's see if it handles 40 rounds per second. Okay, so now we know it feeds pretty much any RPS in Airsoft, but I have to mention one of my other favorite features about it. This really cool orange indicator. It allows you to know how many BBs you actually have left, so when the indicator is at the top, you have a full magazine, and when it's at the bottom, your magazine is empty. Definitely a very handy feature on a M4 mag, so you know exactly how many BBs you have left. Up next, we have the Top BB Target Trap Tent. It costs $38 and is used to enable you to shoot your airsoft guns indoors. And it comes with a super cool carrying case, so when you take it out of that, it expands, so there's basically no setup. And the tent is super simple. It has these thick fabric sheets that absorb the BB impact, and then the BB just falls into the tent to be collected later, making it a great way to shoot indoors and of course not make a mess.
Dan G says this is a fantastic indoor trap. And then we got Daniel G, lots of Dans and Daniel G's apparently writing this one. He says it works great for firing AGs indoors. Be sure to vent your room if you're using a gas blowback. And then last but not least from Philip T, he says excellent BB trap. I can keep my place tidy by folding this trap back into itself and keep BBs in one location. I've shot this trap with a 425 FPS with .20s, AG at less than 5 feet away. As long as you aim into the fabric, it will stop BBs before it hits the rear.
We're going to be testing the tent at different distances and of course with a whole bunch of different airsoft guns. Every time the tent survives, we will go ahead and move the tent closer to us and use a more powerful airsoft gun.
Alright, as you can see, we're trapping all the BBs in here, which is pretty cool. No damage at all to these guys, so obviously it's doing its job. Let's go ahead and move this a little bit closer and upgrade our airsoft gun and see if it'll still survive. We're also going to turn this one to full auto and shoot a full magazine through. I don't think there's any damage. You could see a little like shots actually on the curtains, little white dots on there, but overall they did not do anything and obviously did not pierce the back of it at all. Definitely doing its job so far. But of course now we're going to be shooting at point blank range with this 550 FPS sniper, and not only are we upgrading the airsoft gun and the distance, we also upgraded the BBs to .32 grams as well. Let's see if this guy survives. Ooh. Let's do 5 shots and see if it survives. Those shots sound pretty nasty. Ooh, that sounds like it's doing damage. I'm not too sure yet. I still hear the BBs hitting the curtains. I don't think they're going through. Ooh, but that sounds so loud. Last shot. All right, I think it survived. Let's go ahead and check it out. Yep, this is a clean back end, so it did its job absolutely perfectly. Let's now check out the inside and see how that did. Okay, definitely some damage on the curtains a little bit. You could see kind of my finger through that little hole right there. You can also see some damage over here as well on this side. Overall, it did work and did not penetrate the actual curtains and did its job. But I could definitely see over time, if I took a couple hundred shots at 550 FPS at this range, it definitely would start to tear it apart and break. Overall, I'd say this one did pretty well.
This next one is a weird one. This bad boy is the AIM Mr. Quick Roll-Up Electric Winding System. It only costs $12 and has one simple purpose, and that's to wind up your high kappa AEG mags automatically so you don't have to use your finger. Sounds pointless, but I guess if you're lazy, this might be a good addition to your kit. But it is super cheap, so let's go ahead and read some reviews and test it out and see if it really works.
Devin C says, haha, this thing is great. I'm so lazy and this is amazing. I love all the adapters. Very good idea. Get this. Devin is very excited. Nicholas M says, this is all around great thing. It rewinds your high caps just like it's supposed to. Get this.
This winding system is super simple. It's powered by 2 AA batteries and has a little on and off switch. It also conveniently comes with a lot of adapters for a bunch of different kinds of Airsoft AEG replicas. And after you push down the mag on this little area, the system starts to wind up the high kappa mag. The little red teeth connect with the teeth on the mag and it starts to wind up. I'm not sure if it was just the one I got or if this thing is just made super cheap, hence the price, but I definitely couldn't get this thing to work very well. It also could have been the mag I was using as I only had one high cap mag, but definitely did not work well for me. Last but certainly not least, we have one of the coolest Airsoft products I've ever seen. This is the Smoke Wolf Silencer. It's the most expensive product of the video, coming in $129. I would read some 5-star reviews, but I really couldn't find any good ones for this product, so I guess we'll be one of the first ones to check it out. In the box, you just get the silencer, the charger, and a bottle of some kind of liquid. You actually put this liquid into the silencer itself, and of course, after you charge it up and power it on, every time you shoot a BB through this silencer, it actually causes the silencer to create a smoke effect. And of course, with the addition of some awesome lights as well, it causes a awesome muzzle flash effect replicating that of a real steel gun. Definitely one of the coolest party tricks I've ever seen in Airsoft.
Let's do some full auto.
Alright, the moment we've all been waiting for, ranking the Airsoft products from worst to best, based on performance, value, and of course the build quality. The number 14th product, the lowest of this list, is gonna be the AIM Pro Electric high kappa magazine loader. Obviously all the reviews talked very highly of this one and everyone said to get it, but I can only go off of my experience, and unfortunately for this one, it just wasn't very consistent. Coming in at the 13th spot is going to be the Steel Mechanic Metal Target from Evike. My main complaint was it wasn't very consistent when we shot the actual targets for them to stay upward, and I really like when you shot the target, the BBs actually broke apart, so it's easy to clean up. If this thing was a lot bigger, I think this actually be a really cool product. Number 12th place is going to be the Madbull Mine Airsoft Grenade. This thing was actually pretty easy to set up and a really cool product, but the overall issue I had with this one was just how underwhelming it was. So I think if someone actually stepped on it, they would be more confused than know it's an airsoft mine and call themselves out. Number 11 on this list is really good product. This is where it's going to start to get pretty hard. I'm going to pick the the Enola Gay smoke grenades for number 11 on this list. It's very fun to use these. The smoke is super satisfying and they do a very good job, but the only issue is it's almost like $10 per airsoft grenade. And obviously if you're playing at a dry airsoft field, you might set the field on fire. But overall, great product.
In 10th place, we have the Gunpow electronic target system. Honestly, there's really nothing wrong with the system on how it works, but there is one huge con. And that's just the price. I mean, $750 is just insane for an airsoft target. You could buy a super nice entire airsoft loadout for under that much money. At this price, this thing definitely doesn't make sense for 99% of airsoft players.
In the number 9 spot, we have the white circle shapes airsoft target. I thought this was going to be the worst one when I bought it, but honestly, this one is actually really fun to use. The way it balances itself out when one of the targets actually falls off is actually pretty satisfying. So when all the targets are actually on, it's very balanced and very stable, but then when you shoot one off, they start to rotate based on the lack of weight on the other side. The only main con with this one is sometimes when you shoot the airsoft target, it doesn't actually fall off, but for the most part, it works pretty well. So rating this thing on pure fun scale, this one was definitely my favorite airsoft target. Next up, we have in the number 8 spot is the Max Trigger. These are a little pricey, obviously, just for an airsoft trigger, but if you have a high-end airsoft gun like a Polar Star, DSG, SSG, something of these sorts, you're definitely going to want one of these. The full adjustability is a super cool feature, and obviously you're able to adjust it outside of the gearbox itself. So instead of having to open your gearbox every time you want to adjust the trigger, you can do that externally. And obviously the build quality of these are very good as well. Number 7 is going to be the Airsoft Innovations Tornado Grenade. This thing is super cool and one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful hand grenade I've ever used in Airsoft. But the main issue with this one is Airsoft Innovations is no longer in business. So obviously if you have an issue with the grenade, you're going to have to somehow fix it yourself or find someone that can. So I've been looking for one of these for like a year and I couldn't really even find one. That's the main issue with this one, is you can't even really buy them. In the number 6 spot, we have this mystery box. The main pro with these mystery boxes, you're going to get your money's worth, but the main con is obviously you're not going to know what exactly airsoft gun you're going to get, which could be a good thing because obviously mystery boxes are very fun, and if you're a new player, I would definitely suggest these if you're not sure which airsoft gun to get first. Another main con with this one is it didn't really come with like BBs or a battery or anything like that, so you're probably going to have to buy that separately. Alright, the top 5. In the 5th spot, we have the Top BB Camo Net. This thing is pretty cheap relatively and is super good. I could definitely see this thing lasting for some time. It captures the BBs very well and actually can take a super powerful airsoft gun. Obviously it did a little bit of damage to it, but you know, nothing too bad, and obviously you're not going to be shooting it point blank with a 500 plus FPS sniper rifle all the time. If you want to shoot your airsoft gun and not make a mess indoors, this is definitely a great option. In the 4th spot, we have the PTS EPM1 magazine. This is definitely one of the best M4 mags you could possibly buy in airsoft. I'd say the main cons with this one is obviously the price. They are very expensive for AEG magazines, and the other main con with this is these springs are so strong you actually have to break them in. It's not the end of the world or anything, but it would be nice from factory if the springs were already broken in. In the 3rd spot, we had the CQB Russian HPA adapters. These are pretty cheap relatively and definitely pretty easy to install, way easier than I thought they were going to be. If you have laying around TM or WeTech magazines and you don't want to spend like $100, $150 on some crazy like HPA adapter system, then this is definitely a great cheap option. The second best one of the video is going to be my favorite. This is the smoke silencer. I'm a little biased on this one, but I thought this thing was really cool. Not only does this thing look menacing when you're getting shot by this thing, but also when you're actually shooting the airsoft gun that it's attached to. I wouldn't make this one number 1 in today's video, but there is 2 main cons. One of the cons is you can't actually turn it off and on from the outside of the airsoft tracer, so you're gonna have to actually take it all the way apart and flip the switch. But the main con with this one is obviously I think the lights inside aren't very bright, so when you're actually using this as a trace unit, not for the actual smoke effect, it's not the most effective airsoft tracer I've ever seen. But that leaves us with our last one in today's video, the number 1 best one of the 5-star airsoft products, and that's going to be the EMG Autobot BB loader. If you're a veteran airsoft player like me and you don't like those stupid manual speed loaders that break all the time, this is definitely a great option. The main and only real con I see with this one, aside from kind of the price, is obviously this is a super brand new airsoft product, so we don't know the longevity or the reliability over a long period of time. And that is it, guys. That is my list 1 through 14 of these awesome 5-star airsoft products. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want to see another awesome airsoft video, here's my most recent one I just uploaded, and then right here is one YouTube actually personally recommends you watch right there. And if you enjoyed this video, I bet you'll like those ones too. Without further ado, that does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.